Good evening, geeks. It's GeekCulture Live again, al fresco, coming to you talking about Star Trek, San Diego Comic-Con, and our adventures at ThinkGeek. Hey, remember, it's an interactive show, so if you guys want to post comments or questions, feel free to do so. Bernie will be keeping track, and we'll try to answer them as we go through the show. So, guys, Star Trek, what'd you guys think?
A good watch. I recommend it for the family. I recommend it for everyone else. Great. Bernie?
It was a good popcorn movie. It basically just kept the story going from the first two movies. The crew's back. It's a new adventure for them, and it's definitely worth going to see.
Well, I tell you, Bernie, we were kind of talking about it when we were there watching the movie, and with the newest reveal during San Diego, they were showing images of the USS Discovery from the show. And I thought it was very interesting because you and I were talking about the USS. What was the name of the ship the old ship that we found in the movie?
Oh, the USS Franklin.
The USS Franklin, that's what it was. The USS Franklin and the USS Discovery look very similar. So I wonder if that's like a segue from the movie to the show.
Actually, I thought the Franklin looked more similar to the TV show of Enterprise with the NX-1 with Captain Jonathan Archer. Now, I did see the trailer for Star Trek Discovery, and I noticed a lot of fans are displeased with that that starship.
Mm-hmm.
They say it looks like a mashup between Federation and Klingon. So if you haven't seen the trailer, check it out. It shows the ship from many different angles, and it's a lot different. And if you notice the whole number, it predates the Kirk Enterprise. So that's why some people are thinking that in that timeline, it's before when the Federation is established, and so that's what they're thinking.
Now, two things on the Federation. One, in Star Trek Beyond, Idris Elba's character was there way before the Federation became something,
Right.
And then he evolves into what we see him as in the movie.
Right.
The second thing there, you're saying predates Kirk. Which Kirk?
Oh, from the original TV series.
Okay, let's not get confused there.
Yeah.
George Kirk or...
No, Captain Kirk.
Okay.
Based off the original Gene Roddenberry TV series.
Well,
Just by going by the whole number, because it's way before the NCC 1701.
Well, the reason I asked that is because, the talk of the next Star Trek movie in the Abrams series featuring George Kirk instead of James Kirk.
Now, don't understand with the new TV show, is it going to be within that universe, or is it going to be separate like these new Star Trek movies? I don't know that yet.
Yeah, it's interesting they're going with his father versus, I don't understand how they're going to do that.
Okay.
I don't know why they're going to go with his dad, considering they've never done that in the past, so that seems kind of a strange stretch, I thought, but maybe it'll work.
Well, see, that was a topic of discussion amongst us after the movie. We sat down and we rated the movie, pros and cons and stuff, and one of the things we were talking about is how we're always talking on the show, we encourage the studios to do movies in a trilogy. If you have an idea for a series, plan out the trilogy. Don't do one movie and see if it's successful and then, we'll do another one and then see if that... Movies today are at least generating enough revenue to cover the cost of that one movie, so just plan for the trilogy. I mean, look at Ghostbusters. I don't even think Ghostbusters bombed that bad. I failed to do the look on Box Office Mojo to see how it did overseas, because that's a big indicator. Sometimes when a movie doesn't do well here in the States, the international market will carry it. So the studios make their money regardless. But we were saying afterwards, after the movie, is if you're going to do a 4, 5, and 6, at least make 4 and 5 about George Kirk before you come back to James T. Kirk.
That makes sense. I hope they're just not going to start interacting like all the characters, like relatives or, stuff like that. That's too hokey, I thought. But I did read one thing, though, that since the death of Chekhov, the actor who played it,
They're not going to
replace him. I saw that, which was kind of interesting, because going forward, are they going to just do away with his character?
No. Actually, if you pay attention to the old movies, with William Shatner.
Oh yeah, somewhere.
You remember Anton became, I think he was the captain of another ship. Remember when
Him and Chekhov and Sulu.
Sulu,
yeah,
becomes
They
their
both
own.
moved up
Yeah.
in
Yeah,
rank.
so you know
That's what I'm saying. They'll probably just
they'll probably
push
just say,
him
you know
on.
what, he went to he probably graduated if they think, because remember in the Wrath of Khan,
Yeah, he was with the other one.
he was with the other one. Maybe they could just go back to that kind of like, you know what, he's doing his own thing.
That's what
I can live
Respect.
with.
You respect that.
Because it pays respect to the old movies. At the time, you're paying respect to him.
Yeah.
And going back, to the Star Trek, and paying respect for those for those who are Star Trek fans or have not seen it yet. One thing I did love about the movie, and this is what we discussed, is that you saw more creatures. You saw more.
You experienced the world more.
You experienced the war more. What you saw in the series, what you saw in the old movies, you saw different creatures from a different. I thought it was fantastic. It was a different watch. I believe you were saying, you're like, oh wow, look at that. You're always mesmerized in what you were seeing there.
I was impressed with the immersiveness that we got from Abrams and company in this movie, and I was comparing it to the guys. I felt that in Force Awakens it wasn't as immersive as it was Star Trek, so I kind of feel like Abrams sides a little more towards Star Trek than he does Star Wars. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's how I felt watching the movie. I just saw little things that just caught my eyes, plants and creatures and whatnot, and I felt in that world, world.
Exactly.
So
Yes.
it was immersed versus isolated in The Force Awakens, where it was just
Well,
television.
in the first two movies, maybe you saw one or two creatures that were from a different world. I mean, well, I'm again not one or two, but you saw.
Yeah,
them
it wasn't as many.
But the
as
thing
actors.
is, yeah, in this movie, you see a lot. You get immersed, and then the world that they create, you're like, oh wow, they're like actually, going to these worlds, venturing into these, which the series did present. And I thought it was great, and
gave it more of a third dimension, or you felt you were in it. Or
and then that's what made the movie great, in my opinion. Again, for the lackluster, since Civil War, the June.
Since Civil War, the movies that have come out have been, lackluster. So this was a good movie.
Yeah, this was a good, I'll say, summer movie, to go take, to go.
Yeah.
But it's like, just to add on to that, I did, going back to the movie, I mean, what I love, and again, I expressed my feelings after the movie, that was beautiful how they ended the movie, how they paid tribute to Nimoy, and how they respected Anton. It's in there.
I did. That's what I was going to bring up, is the tribute to Leonard Nimoy was beautiful in the movie, and it was felt. The crowd felt it, and it was felt by the actors in the movie. It was shown. That was great. And then to answer something that John had put out there before about the internet backlash from George Takei about Sulu's role, it really wasn't that offensive. I mean, they showed Sulu and his partner with his daughter, but there was nothing. It was
the
just
thing
that.
with that, it wasn't offensive. It was just they were worried. From what I read, they were worried what the reaction would be from the audience, any audience, so nationwide. But I also read that they've cut a scene that's more in depth with his partner. But that may be in when they release it.
Yeah, they can release that in the director's cut, but
and I don't mean like sexual. I'm just saying it's like more
maybe more intimate.
Yeah, like they're talking and all that kind of stuff.
But you know what? I tell you, I have not read any backlash about that scene or anything else about Star Trek. Fans are also commenting that they like that they're at a different planet. The difference in the three movies. The first one, you're primarily in space. The second one, you're looking for Khan. And this one, you're on the planet for the majority of the movie, dealing with these other beings. So fans are liking that. Got any questions so far?
Actually,
Well, you know what? Like another thing I did enjoy, and which I brought up, because it brought a little realism, which is my key point. And at the beginning of the movie, it did bring up, of the mundane lifestyle that when you live on a ship, you see the problems that people are having, the affairs, people are having, and the thing is the lifestyle. So by the time you get home, how they go back,
How they decompress.
how they decompress and go back to family life, which we do see of Sulu, and which was great because it added a little realism, yet in an imaginary world, and I thought they
paid attention to the detail.
It paid attention to detail, and it wasn't quirky. It was done right. I think Abrams and Justin Lin did an excellent job on that part.
It could be like you said, that they favor it more, so that they paid extra attention to those little things that everybody takes for granted, more or less, in the movie world. Things that you overlook, or stuff like that.
I did enjoy that space station they had. the Yorktown. That was
Oh,
Yorktown?
Yeah, Yorktown.
and how it was like in a giant biosphere, and how the way they set up the gravity, that you can have things looking opposite each other, but the gravity affects you like.
Didn't it
you're on
remind you
normal
kind of
ground.
when I saw it, I thought it reminded me of Elysium.
Yes,
I was like,
yes,
it looks
yes.
like Elysium. I was,
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
I was
what
like,
it
It was 10 times better than Elysium. It was better than Elysium.
Yes.
Yeah.
They threw the money in.
Yeah, I was like, wow, that looks like Elysium. And, at the same time, like from Star Wars,
The Death Star.
the Death Star.
Yeah,
It was put together. I
It
was like,
had
wow.
atmosphere, and no
Yeah.
matter where you were, it felt like your gravity, like that's where you were. It didn't matter your perspective.
Yeah, it didn't matter that the city was above
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
That was a trip, man.
The
That was
space
trip.
station was
Yeah,
really
a trip.
But other than that, it was a good watch. I recommend it. I recommend everyone to go see it. Since Civil War, this summer has been more of like what I call this is my term. What I call it. It's like it's been that kind of a summer. It's more like if when I go see a movie, what do you think about it? Or what you think about the movie? But this movie didn't make me do anything. I'm actually recommending it for everyone. It's a good watch, and it's great for the family, great for the kids. I'm even thinking about going back and go take my family.
Well,
it was a fun watch. I liked it.
We'll close out our discussion on Star Trek on that note, being that at the end of the movie, I can report that the Trek fans that were in the theater were actually clapping at the end of the movie.
Oh, yes,
so for
yes.
you diehard fans, the Trekkies that were in the theater were clapping.
Yes.
I like Star Trek, but I don't consider myself a Trekkie. But the Trekkies there were
Yeah.
clapping at the end of this movie.
Yes.
So that's got to be worth something. So, you notice we have the big bad Bane in front of us, and this is significant for San Diego Comic-Con. Why, you say? Because DC had a great weekend this weekend. A lot of big announcements from DC. We got the Justice League trailer. We got the beautiful and magnificent Wonder Woman trailer. We got, what else?
a second or third Suicide Squad trailer.
It was a Suicide Squad remix. But I was looking, did we get a Flash?
No.
Well, I guess what I'm thinking Flash is because I have been watching the little chats about why did Warner Brothers change Flash in Justice League to how he was on television. They don't like the costume change.
Right.
Well, it's two separate worlds still, isn't it? As far as I
Yeah,
know.
the TV show and the movies, they are separate universes. There's no
Going back to
connection.
your point, Bernie, is that that's where you're disappointed in DC. It's like, it's like they don't like it's Marvel.
Yeah, they're not doing it like Marvel, where everything is connected.
Yeah, everything's
All
separate.
the shows
yeah.
and the movies
Yeah.
connect.
The problem with that is it seems like I can understand the good and bad. DC's doing that to keep like the television people happy and keep the theater fans happy. But the problem with it is it's kind of confusing in a way, and then nothing's connected. So if you go to the movie, whatever you watch on the TV shows is not going to transfer over, or vice versa.
Yeah.
It's going to be its own world.
I already know because my daughter's a fan of the Flash TV series. I know when I take her to go see this Justice
Yeah,
League, she's gonna be kind of confused. And again, she's 15. She's gonna be like, wait a minute, that's not the Flash. I know
Exactly.
that I love. And so it's I understand why fans may.
And they
may
did
rip apart.
announce at Comic-Con that for the upcoming season of Flash, they're doing the Flashpoint Paradox. So
Can you tell us a little more about the Flashpoint Paradox?
well, for people that didn't read the comics or see the animated
Spoiler.
movie, was the Flash messes up the timeline to where his mother never dies, and what happens is he alters reality to where in the new timeline the Justice League doesn't really exist. There's a war between Atlantis and the island where Wonder Woman comes from. So it's a very unique storyline, but how they're going to translate that to the TV show is going to be kind of difficult.
Let's just say it's interesting because you were apprehensive, not to get off topic. You were apprehensive about how they were going to translate some of the stuff from the Walking Dead comic to the live series, but then you were surprised when they showed what was that King Ezekiel and the tiger, and you were surprised. So, if the Walking Dead can do it, DC can do it. On another note, they've been saying online that now with Doctor Strange, he's going to help create the Marvel multiverse, not Marvel Cinematic Universe, Marvel Cinematic Multiverse. And I'm excited about that. What I hope doesn't happen is, there's 52 for DC?
The new 52
The new
storylines are
52?
done now.
Okay. So, but you have, you know, those different universes. The New
Right.
52, and then Marvel has its own. I hope that I know Marvel will, because Marvel's on point. I know Marvel will manage those properly. I hope DC doesn't get lost in their multiverses.
Well, for their movies, like I said, the movies are one thing, then the TV shows are another. One thing that kind of confused me, because with the Flash TV show, if they're going to do Flashpoint Paradox, I thought we saw a snippet of that from Batman versus Superman when you saw Flash come back in that dream sequence. I thought that was part of the Flashpoint Paradox.
We might see that. We might see that again
Expanded.
in the future movies from DC. It was very strange. I mean, most of the other diehard DC fans caught that. I got that it was a Flash, but it looked very odd to me, so I didn't really understand it. From the trailers that we saw, the Batman's interaction with Flash, that's got to be my favorite. I mean, I like Affleck in Batman vs Superman, and I won over with him in Justice League. I like it.
I didn't.
You didn't?
I didn't like it because I don't like how they're making, in that trailer, the Flash seems really, really young.
Yeah.
And I didn't like that. I don't like him. I don't like the idea of him being that young. I don't want him being young, but he seems like really, really
You
young.
know what he seems like?
He sounds like a spider. You know,
Yeah,
Spider-Man.
exactly. He seems like a Peter Parker of
He's like a
DC.
Peter Parker
From Civil War, that kind of
Yeah.
version.
And just that sequence for the trailer went way too long. Like,
Really?
and we know that he was fast, so when Batman threw the Batarang, that sequence just went on, kept just going on and on. And when he called it, he goes, "Oh, you're fast." And he's like, then he asked him, "I'm putting together a team." "Oh, I'm in," and it was just
Yeah, no question.
But you
I'm
know
in.
what? But the thing is, you know what? Ben Affleck. It kind of reminded me of the Nick Fury.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, he didn't play, Bruce Wayne.
But he wasn't as
Yeah.
straight faced as
Yeah,
Samuel
exactly.
Jackson.
Yeah.
You know, there was at least character and personality in Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Where Nicholas Cage, or not, I'm sorry, Samuel Jackson is straightforward.
But I'm still anxious to see it. I'm still anxious to see it. Oh, I'm gonna go see it anyways, just to,
Yeah,
Remember, you got to remember that was the very first team.
Yeah.
No, then came the Avengers.
You know, real quick, let me interject this. Are you guys happy that no longer have to stand in line for movies? You know, the old days where people would stand in line for weeks or months for Star Wars and Batman movies. Are we glad that that's gone?
For me, it's in between because I'm old enough to I remember doing that. And where I used to live, there was a small theater where you go and only had I think maybe 5 screens, maybe, and then maybe 4. So it was kind of like the anticipation going to see a movie. You had to wait, and I mean, not to get all dark, but I mean it was a safer time too. It wasn't the way the world is now. I'm just saying it was more of like an anticipation kind of thing. So it seemed more fun to go see a movie. I can remember going to see Gremlins. I can remember going to see a bunch of movies where you have to wait, and it was like, this is great. Now you have many
Theaters.
plexes and cinemas and all that stuff where you don't have to wait, but
Well, then now then also that in the theaters now are starting to come out with assigned seating.
yeah.
So like
That's a blessing for
That,
me.
yeah, that's a blessing. Because remember when you and I grew up, we used to go to the theaters. You go see. Remember the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Yep.
You used to go wrap around the movie theater. Of course, that hence the term blockbuster. You busted the block. That's where for you all fans that don't know that's where that term comes from. But yeah, it's like we ate 2 hours. Remember, we woke up early one time.
Yeah.
Just to go
8 o'clock, and just to go Star Wars. You remember that?
Yeah, let's say Star Wars. Came to mind.
Yeah,
You
it
said
came to
that.
mind. So we had to get the tickets early. Then we got there at like 5 hours early just to stand in line just to watch a 7 o'clock movie.
See, but that's a lot of time wasted. I mean, as individuals, as humans, we waste a lot of time. We're stuck in our social media. We're stuck playing video games. We are inefficient with our time. But for me, to be more efficient with time, now I can walk in, hopefully a couple weeks in advance, get my tickets for the movie, assigned seating. The family and I can go and enjoy a meal, go to the movie, go to our seats. It's a blessing, and I'm grateful for it.
I like it too.
I'm grateful for
Like I
it.
said, it's good and bad for me. It's good in the sense y'all said. The bad is, I just missed that anticipation part. It's not, the anticipation is still there because you didn't see the movie that you're waiting to see. But in the past, it was kind of like everybody in the line had the same anticipation, and it wasn't never. I've never back then as a kid. I don't ever remember anybody ever having bad anticipation. Nobody ever said, "Man, this movie's gonna be terrible."
Kind of like today, huh?
Yeah, like some people are going there real pessimistic. Maybe that's social media. Maybe that's too much internet or exposure to before the movies come out. But it just seemed more fun. That's the only word I can come up with. Even if you had to wait, it was just more fun. Now, yeah, it's good. You get to, your assigned seating. You get to get in. There's more opportunities so you can be in on time and all that kind of stuff. But Part of me misses that old style, but I understand we're moving forward. You have to do that because there's just more people and more people to see these kind of movies.
Well, then not only that, you got to think about, as far as going movie companies, they're banking on the first weekend.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so they're banking on the first week. They say, you know what, open as many theaters. I'm pretty sure they're probably paying the theaters.
Oh yeah,
Open many
they
theaters.
definitely.
That way, more people could come in, get them on the first weekend because they know the second weekend's going to be to where. Back in the day, I remember movies lasting out,
a month, 6 months.
No,
Yeah.
like 6 months in the theaters.
Because
so
that's
wow.
how they made their money
But
back
now
then.
it's like they're out 2 months and it's gone. You didn't see it. Oh well.
Yeah.
I remember that this year when Deadpool was already out in May on DVD. People were like, "It's already on DVD."
Yeah, it used to be.
Hey,
like
I'm happy.
The last few years, it was like a 4-month turnaround. Now it's getting shorter and shorter. It's like 3 and a half, or 2.5, or maybe 3 months at the most.
Hey, 3 months is cool. If I see like Suicide Squad, if I see it in August, I'd love to be able to buy it. Ideally before Christmas. But hey, if it comes out on Christmas, I'd be happy.
Probably will be forever. Thanksgiving
Hey,
time.
go ahead.
Well, let's get back to San Diego Comic Con. Some of the things that I saw online, other than movie trailers, were for me that I'm excited for are all the new Marvel Legends coming out. There's a new X-Men wave. There's a wave coming out where there's a Build-A-Figure Warlock. There's just so many. For any fans that are of Marvel Legends, I mean, it's great. For the rest of this year, in 2017, there's some great figures coming out.
For those of you watching at home that don't know, Bernie is a huge Marvel Legends collector. So when they said Adam Warlock was going to be a Build-A-Figure, he fangirled on us.
It's Warlock.
Yeah, Warlock.
No, but not Adam. Warlock.
Adam Warlock and Warlock, two different.
Two different ones, but you still fangirled on us for Warlock. You're like, oh, Warlock.
Yeah, Warlock. He's a member of the New Mutants. So.
Well, speaking about figures, I mean, I get my sideshow, all these updates and everything like that. They were premiering DC, going back to DC.
There's a lot of DC.
Like, what did you think of the DC figures or statues?
There's a lot
of
of
the DC line.
figures coming out.
Well, we posted the Bane figure coming out from Sideshow, and but it was unpainted. It was a prototype being shown. For me, what's important is it as big as this bad boy here. That's what I'm looking at. Because it was a good pose. I really like that he's smashing the bat signal. I love that. But he's got to be imposing. If he's not big and imposing, if he's just, if he's like that big and he's bent over, kind of like the Hulk figure, the different Hulk statues, you got the red, the gray, and the green. He's big, but he's bent over like that.
So,
I like that size.
Yeah,
Prime 1.
Yeah, going Prime 1. And everyone sees the Shockwave. That thing is huge.
Shockwave is almost twice as big as this. That Shockwave statue is like that big.
I know, right? And it just gives you more of a wow. And I hope they do that with again with Bane.
With Bane.
Yeah, if it's just like you're, and I agree with you. If it's like this, it's like then it loses its emphasis and it loses its aura.
Because people we've shown this to, we had put that Hot Toys Batman in front of this guy, and it just emphasizes.
What's what I was gonna say? Are those in scale with their previous ones?
The Bane that they got coming out?
Yeah.
I don't know. Even if we put the SSC Batman next to this, it's not a good enough scale. That's why I don't ever display it like
It's
that.
offset.
But when you display it with the Hot Toys, it's closer to a proper scale because that's what Bane's supposed to be. He's like, I'm coming and I'm gonna whoop you.
Well, there's a lot of like Bane, Killer Croc.
Even Killer Croc.
They're also over. I mean, they're huge, right? They're not just little characters.
But the Prime 1 Killer Croc blows away the Sideshow Killer Croc because they've shown that they've
scale or just the immensity of it.
The scale, everything. The Prime 1 Killer Croc is about that big, and he's almost as massive as this guy. Where the Sideshow one, he's bent over. I don't
So it's
like
more
that.
like a realistic version versus a over-exaggerated comic version. I'm assuming. Yes.
Yeah, every collector has their preference. One of my clients doesn't like the big bulkiness of some of these statues.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's going back to the Dark Knight when they had that Bane. He was more a realistic Bane versus this kind of Bane where it's just like over the top. I'm trying to say. I mean the body build, and maybe that's what they're.
Well, again, going back to what you were saying, Christopher Nolan. Well, he likes more, reality.
Exactly.
He likes realism. He likes, could that character really be like that?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Maybe they're going that route with Sideshow, like the realism versus the, like I said, exaggerated over the top, where this could not be in real people and all that stuff.
But speaking of DC, I mean, what do you think of Wonder Woman trailer?
I love it. Gail Gadot. That's what I wanted to ask you guys at home. Has Gail Gadot won you over as Wonder Woman? There was a lot of talk about her physical form not being buff enough, not being accessorized enough, if you'd say. But I think she is wonderful as Wonder Woman.
You know what? She didn't sell me in Batman
BBS.
vs. in BBS. She did not sell me in that. But
Wow.
this preview, the preview, what I see, has won me over. You know, again, I mean, it's far. I think it's one of the best trailers that San Diego Comic-Con put out this year. And you know, I mean, I'm ready to see it. I love that when she used her lasso, it glowed.
Yes.
Oh, I was like, wow, it glowed. You know, and she's kicking butt. You know, as Wonder Woman should.
And the good thing about it is, like they were saying, like people were complaining she's not buff enough. She don't have to be that buff. She just needs to be toned enough to look like Wonder Woman, not over the top, like where she's on steroids or something.
Remember, she was created,
Yeah.
and she has the powers of certain of the gods.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. She doesn't have to be as built as him to be that strong. She's strong enough.
My sole concern, and I don't want to dive too deep into it. My sole concern with Wonder Woman, because you get a sense of it in the trailer, is DC makes sure not to do a Mad Max Fury Road with the character. There's being a strong, independent woman, and then there's those undertones of a negative, what do you want to say, fan base that our culture doesn't need. We don't need that kind of fan base. Strong, independent woman, a strong female character, sure. All that political stuff, just leave it out of the movie. And it's the one scene. Well, there's several, but there's that one scene where she's with Chris Pine, and she's like, well, what are you? Oh, I'm a secretary. Yeah, it's talking with the secretary. And she's like, well, back where I'm from, that's slavery. And it's just like, it is a little tongue-in-cheek, but just leave it at that. Don't make it any more than that.
I just love the fact that her costume has the classic colors. The blue, the yellow,
Oh yes,
and the red.
yes. When she first came
I
out.
was like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Because she didn't have those colors in Batman vs. Superman. So it's great to see that, and also her lasso.
Does anybody know who the director of this movie is?
I don't remember who the director.
I mean, we're right now. I mean, the trailer does it justice. I mean, I'm loving it. You know, I'm stoked to see it. I'm ready to see, you know, and I think this is gonna be a good movie. You know, and what I love is what the trailer sold me on was the cinematography.
Yes.
That's like
Yes.
there's a part in the trailer where she's sliding and she's about to do some kind of roundhouse kick on this guy. And I was like, that's Wonder Woman. That's Wonder Woman.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
she's a trained warrior.
Yeah, that's Wonder Woman. Man.
I'm hoping they're gonna have a Linda Carter cameo. I don't see why they wouldn't.
You know, if they do that, I
want them to. She's
I kind of, now that you mentioned, I want them to.
because she's the only one that's ever.
Yes,
played it.
exactly.
As far as
You
I
know,
know,
it's
I don't think no one else.
I hope they do that. I hope they do that.
I don't, because Linda Carter's already been confirmed to be on the next season of Supergirl. Linda Carter's going to be the president on the next season of Supergirl.
No, have her something.
well,
This is taking place
Right,
earlier
yeah,
than that, so it's
but
no
you
big
know, just to have her, just to pay homage.
Did you guys like the fact that they kept the theme music for Wonder Woman that they had developed in
Right.
Batman vs. Superman?
Yes.
deal. To continue.
Yeah,
It-
at least it's continuing.
It works for her.
It works
Yes.
for her. Yes.
It's
Go ahead. Another thing that I was excited, and hopefully everyone else is, that it was revealed at San Diego Comic-Con, was the Planet Hulk armor.
Oh yes,
So
yes.
that was awesome to see, because they're supposed to incorporate that into the Thor Ragnarok story. So just seeing that was just amazing.
Can I mention something about that movie?
Yes.
What do you think, of the actresses that they got? You know, the one to play Hela and the one to play Valkyrie.
I think.
You think they did a good
see.
choice?
We'll see. I mean, they just started filming the movie, so.
Well, for me, I think it should be reversed. You know, the one that they got to play Valkyrie, I think she looks more Hela.
Oh, okay, okay.
And the one that got to play Hela should be Valkyrie.
Oh, okay.
I don't know, because as we all know, Valkyrie, we all know her as the blonde pigtail, or not the blonde hair.
Right.
And that's who she was.
Yeah.
With Hela, you never really saw that. She's always in that green, spidery mask,
Yeah.
or something like that. And you know what? I could see the one that they got. When I saw her, I said, man, she's Hela, and she's Valkyrie. But again,
It's just that's
You know,
their take on it.
but
maybe.
I could be wrong. If it's if I'm wrong, then so be it.
I'm anxious. I love the fact that they showed us the helmet, the hammer, what else? The axe.
It was that
It's
and
shoulder.
the shoulder armor.
Oh man, I was pumped. Somebody posted that. One of our teammates posted that, and I was just ecstatic. what else? We posted pictures Mark Ruffalo's put up last week. He was messing around with the Hulk hands, and then Chris Hemsworth is giving us pictures from the backlot of filming. So very excited for Thor. Still, we're looking for a good Hulk series. So if Gladiator Hulk is the series, bring it, Marvel, bring it. What about the little change on their logo, Marvel's logo?
I like the new Marvel Studios logo. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
They're moving forward, so they have to update it. It's not just sticking with the same one forever and all.
It wasn't bad. I didn't think anything was wrong with the old one. The new one, it's not bad. I just didn't see why they had to.
I never really considered it.
That's internal. Their corporation probably decided, hey, it's time for a change. Let's just go that route. As long as they don't mess up the storylines, then yeah, they're good.
Did you guys see the image of Michael Rooker as Yondu with his black mohawk?
No, I didn't see
Did you catch that one?
He's got almost the full mohawk, just like in the comics.
So, do you think it's because of that, or do you think they went with that because at Comic-Con it would have been a little harder to do the light up mohawk that he has in the movie? Do you think that in the second movie of Guardians of the Galaxy they're gonna have that black mohawk?
Well, I think when he was on stage it looked more blue, but it was like it's more prominent now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not going to be as prominent like in the comics, because in the comics it's very ridiculous. But here it's a little higher now. I think fans like that, and hopefully he gets more screen time in this movie.
It looked like his outfit changed too.
I think his outfit was a little bit different too. So, but he's back. He's blue, and he's ready to from what I understand, I think he might be teaming up with the Guardians this time.
And then Kurt Russell is Ego the planet?
Yeah, Ego the living planet. That's pretty exciting that they revealed that Kurt Russell is going to be playing that character. And they revealed the costume that he's wearing at San Diego Comic-Con.
Oh, I must have missed that.
They showed his costume. It's not very kind of simplistic, but how they're going to portray his character, because in the comics
he's a planet.
He's a planet, but here he's going to be an actor in costume, so we'll see how they do that. Plus, they haven't revealed who Sylvester Stallone's going to be playing.
Oh, I hadn't heard that one. Did you guys hear that?
I didn't hear about it.
So he's in Guardians of the Galaxy, huh?
Yeah,
okay.
I'm thinking maybe he might be playing the Grandmaster, because it's been revealed the Grandmaster he's either in Guardians or he's in Thor Ragnarok.
Oh, okay. Well,
right now I don't think he's in Thor. I think he's playing Guardians.
Maybe he's at the end scene or something.
Well, speaking of Marvel, I mean, what did you think of the new Doctor Strange trailer?
That trailer blew me away too. I think Doctor Strange is going to be a big hit coming later this fall. I think.
Mm-hmm. Heard it first like last week, or the last time we did it. That is going to be one of the sleeper movies. I guarantee it.
You know what got me when I saw the trailer was when he got his cape and just wrapped it around. Oh, that looks like an image from the comic book.
That's probably where they took it straight from.
I was like, wow, that looks, it just looked at it. I was like, oh, that's so cool.
That trailer series, that's the third one, right? The second one.
I think it was the second.
Well, there's a teaser and then the second full one. That's how you do it. You build it up, and that's what they're doing. They're building that character and that movie up good with it. Hopefully it lives up to the hype in the movie, but it looks so far really good. Now again, they can fall into that trap of.
So Bernie or anybody, does anybody know we have yet to post a second trailer for Rogue One? Is there any Star Wars Celebration happened? Nothing came out of there.
There was a trailer there. It was only for them. Some people posted some leak cell phone. It was quickly taken down, but give it another week or two. Hopefully, Lucasfilm will release that second trailer. People went wild for that one. Like I said, I watched a little snippet of it, but it was so bad you really couldn't tell what was going on because it was cell phone footage.
And I'm sure some of you guys have been hearing about that on the internet. The studios are really cracking down on posting this. It's kind of sad, really. They feel like are these different individual sites are stealing their thunder. I don't understand that. You guys release it, whether it's at Celebration or Comic-Con or another event. We're anxious to see it.
They just wanted to make sure that whoever attended Celebration,
it's exclusive to them.
Yeah, they got to see it first, and a week or two later they'll release it worldwide, which is fine.
That's what I was going to get at.
It's like supply and demand.
Yeah.
They're controlling it until it finally floods out to the
right.
To
Just
mass
like at
market.
San Diego, they let the fans watch it there first, and as soon as they watch it, boom, they upload it, on the internet.
Well, that's what I was going to say is that what was it called? The exclusivity. I went blank. I lost it.
The exclusiveness of the trailers or product or whatever at San Diego, that's always been the same. It's always year in, year out. That's the market. The Star Wars fan celebration, same thing. It's exclusive. And Star Trek has their own thing too sometimes. So
That's what I was going to say. We had posted before we went on the show, we posted Mark Hamill's panel at Star Wars Celebration. So I hope you guys are enjoying that. That was funny. Mark and his improv answers to fans' comments. I thought it was cool. And then every one of the fans that were standing in line to ask Mark a question were getting an autographed 8x10 of him. That's freaking awesome, man.
That's awesome.
That's freaking
Yes,
awesome, dude.
yes.
and the other thing was, it's about a week ago they have new Han Solo. They chose the new one.
They
for the
chose a
movie.
new Solo, yeah.
He kind of looks like a young Han Solo. I don't know what storyline they're going to go with it, but I mean that's another thing that I figured if anything they would at the Star Wars Celebration they would have announced that, but they didn't. They did it prior, so it was so close that I thought for sure that was going to be an exclusive for them. But
You know, another interesting thing, so we've been trying to keep up with the coverage on San Diego Comic-Con on the site. We'd like to thank our team members out there in the field providing us. Last year we actually had boots on the ground over in San Diego getting us picture from the con floors. This year it's been a team effort about GeekCulture to get as much information to you fans as possible. And I just want to say a big thanks to David because he lives in a different city entirely, and he's been working really hard to get us the information that we've provided the fans. So thanks, David. Thanks for being a part of the team. We hope you guys have been enjoying the coverage. We look to have boots on the ground in the future at more conventions. Vic and I have been doing the ones this year. We went to Dallas Fan Expo. We went to Comic Palooza. We'll be at Classic Game Fest this next weekend. Also coming up August 7th, we just posted that GameStop and Corner Bakery will be teaming up for a Pokemon Go tournament in the Alamo Market Quarry. So we will be out there August 7th for that. We will be watching Suicide Squad August 4th, so we'll have a feedback for you on that. We'll talk about it on the show. And then the big news is ThinkGeek. So as you guys know, we've been working with ThinkGeek for a couple weeks now. We met them first up at Dallas Fan Expo. Really nice group of guys, of geeks, I'm sorry. Steve and Andy, Danny, Ashley, Kevin, great group of guys. We went out to Humble, Texas for the grand opening. What an experience. Had 1,000+ fans show up. The store was jam-packed, constantly throughout the day. It came in waves at times after the initial opening, but it was always packed. Me and Vic and I went to lunch, and we came back, and it was packed again. We're like, man, this is freaking awesome. What I enjoyed most about it was the fans, the geeks. You guys are amazing. It didn't matter who I talked to, but you guys were so excited to be there, and that's where we like to be. We like to be in the middle with people of our own kind, people that are geeking out, that are nerding out for, or whatever you want to call it, for the things that we like, the culture. Whether it's Harry Potter or Doctor Who, Star Wars, Marvel, Funko Pops, Transformers, yeah, whatever it is. We enjoy being there with you, and it was great talking with you guys. You guys got questions about it?
For anybody that lives in Houston, Texas, and wasn't able to go to the grand opening, it's located at the Deerbrook Mall in Humboldt, Texas. Not too far from the George Bush Airport up there.
And on October 2nd, the second ThinkGeek opens up in Sugar Land, Texas, and we will be there for that grand opening. But the one that's more exciting for all of us is the San Antonio opening at North Star Mall, right above Hot Topic, across from the food court. So we're going to start working with ThinkGeek to do a grand opening, GeekCulture style. Our fans know what that means. Giveaways, exciting prizes, exciting things. I want to also thank Spider-Gwen, Christina, who came out as one of our cosplayers at ThinkGeek in Humboldt. Thank you. You were so amazing with the crowd. It was a pleasure to have you there. We look forward to working with you again. On the cosplay note, let me announce that we will be doing a cosplay casting call at Alamo City Comics over here on 281 North. We've already confirmed that with them. We'll put out information in a week on what the times are, but we encourage you to come out in your best cosplay. We are looking to bring cosplayers onto the team for future events that we do. The grand opening in San Antonio, the grand opening in Sugar Land, and other events that we will be attending this year. So if you've got a great cosplay and you think you have an outgoing and personable personality, come on up. Show us what you got. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for people that interact with their fellow geeks, that can smile and have great conversation, make people smile, take that waiting time to get into the store, take that edge off, and have them excited and ready to go. So,
when is the grand opening here in San Antonio?
August 26th.
Okay.
We posted the dates. If you guys go back on the feed, because it's just chock full of pictures and stuff from San Diego, you go back on the feed, you'll find that ThinkGeek that we created. It's got the dates for all 7 of the stores that are opening across the nation, and you guys will be seeing posts about that from GeekCulture as well, primarily on Instagram. You'll be seeing that.
So how is the store layout? How big is it?
Okay, so the store layout, the best that I can describe it, it was like a GameStop. It was long, it was narrow but long. It was deep, it was narrow but deep. But that's the store there in Humble. The store that's opening up here in San Antonio is going to be wide and shallow. Not in a bad way. They've got a good amount of toys. I tell you, when you walk in there, I was telling one of our comic owner clients today, when you walk in there, even a comic owner, somebody that owns a comic book store, would be blown away, because just every inch is just everything that the culture is. Yeah. Funko Pops, clothing, accessories, posters, artworks, statues, just backpacks. I mean,
so they have a great selection of collectibles.
Great selection. Anime.
And if you've never been to ThinkGeek, it's ThinkGeek.com, right?
Yeah.
Go on there, you'll see that's the kind of stuff they'll have, but actually in the store, not just online. You can look at it, you can see all the, maybe not all items, but a good majority of the items they carry online in their store.
Everything on their website. I mean, they carry more on the website than what they would carry at a physical store. So for people that don't live anywhere near the ThinkGeek store, you can always hop online. They have sales all the time. They have lots of great product on there.
Yeah, at the grand opening, they had buy 2 pops, get 1 free. So, yeah, they were having some great sales, great product. Boxes in Action was also there. And if you guys have looked through the ThinkGeek folder that we created, the album of pictures, Boxes in Action revealed 2 of their upcoming boxes. The Smile box, the Joker, and the Sidekick box, which had Mary Jane and Spider-Man. Great boxes. The fans there were already anxious to buy, but those were just the prototypes, so those will be coming out soon. I can't give you too much information, but there is an amazing comic thing box coming from Boxes in Action. I'm excited. I was telling the store owner that I knew today, I said, you know what, you're going to have to order 100 plus of these boxes, because these things are going to sell out. So stay tuned. As soon as Boxes in Action posts an announcement on that, we'll post that.
And if I'm correct, the first 1,000 people at the Humble store got a special patch and a pin that commemorated the grand opening. So at every grand opening throughout the nation, each store will have their own special patch and pin.
That's correct. Thank you for pointing that out, Vernon.
Yeah, so y'all need to come out there and show. You can come meet us. You can come, most of us will be there. I'm pretty sure all of us. It's going to be fun. If you like that kind of stuff, you'll love everything in the store. If just go online and look at it. Just imagine being there in the store. That's how much stuff is there. That's how much, it's like you said, it's just packed wall to wall with
pop culture.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even put it into words. There's just so much
Get some free
stuff.
swag, hang out with us.
Yeah, it was great times. Cosplayers made it fun. The giveaways that ThinkGeeks were doing, as I said, the San Antonio Open, we're going to do it GeekCulture style, so you know what that means, guys. But here we are live again, al fresco. We'd like to thank you for joining us this evening. We will see you geeks next week at Corner Bakery.
Good night.
Good night.